In the busy city of Lagos, where tall buildings touch the sky and the streets buzz with life, there lived two sisters who could never get along. Their names were Temi and Titi. From the time they could talk, they argued. From the time they could walk, they fought. Nobody, not their neighbors, not their friends, could understand why they clashed so much. They were both beautiful, but it wasn't about looks. They weren't fighting over a boyfriend, they didn't even have any. They were the daughters of Chief Tolu, a well-respected businessman with a deep, booming laugh. He loved his girls dearly, but no matter what he did, they just wouldn't stop fighting. If he bought them matching dresses, they'd rip them. If he served their favorite meal, jollof rice and fried plantain, neither would eat if the other was nearby. He begged, he scolded, he even took them to their grandma for advice. But nothing worked. Temi, the older sister, was tall and calm, but her words were sharp, like a needle. Titi, the younger one, was small but fiery. Her eyes always burned with anger, and no one knew why. Even their mother, Mrs. Kemi, had given up. These girls will never agree, she sighed. Maybe they're under a curse, the neighbors whispered. Maybe they're not real sisters, others said. But Chief Tolu knew the truth. He had seen them as babies, cuddled up together, giggling. He remembered a time, long ago, when they actually liked each other. But something had changed. Something nobody talked about. As days turned into weeks, the fighting only got worse. If Temi was in the kitchen, Titi would refuse to eat. If Titi was watching TV, Temi would turn it off just to annoy her. They couldn't even stand in the same room for 1 minute without screaming or throwing something. Their home, once full of laughter, was now a battlefield. What had gone wrong between them? And would they ever find peace again? The neighbors loved to gossip about Temi and Titi. Why do sisters fight like this? One market woman whispered. Maybe they fell for the same boy, another giggled. But no one knew the real reason. If Temi laughed, Titi scowled. If Titi won a school competition, Temi would clench her fist, her eyes burning. They were like two phones with no network, totally disconnected. One day, they even fought in the middle of Oshodi Market, shouting over something silly. Auntie Grace, their mother's friend, tried to stop them. "What's wrong, my children?" she asked. But the girls hissed and stormed off. An old mama selling plantains shook her head. "Leave them. One day, they'll tire themselves out." But they never tired. Every day, a new fight. That night, Chief Tolu called them under the neem tree in their backyard. The air was cool, and the city sounds hummed softly. "My daughters," he said, his voice heavy. "Must I die before you two make peace?" Temi folded her arms. Titi rolled her eyes. "Your mother is tired. Even our poor dog, Bruno, hides when you argue." But the sisters stayed silent. Their quietness was louder than their shouts. They all went to bed, angry, confused, and exhausted. Then, one afternoon, an old woman named Mama Ngozi knocked on their gate. She lived near the Lagos Lagoon, where fishermen told stories of spirits and secrets. "I dream of your girls," she said, her voice crackly like firewood. "The ancestors are upset. One sister hides a truth, the other runs from it." Chief Tolu frowned. "What truth?" "They've been fighting since they were toddlers." Mama Ngozi grinned, her gold tooth shining. "Oh, maybe the problem started before they were born." Boom! Thunder crashed suddenly. The wind howled, shaking the mango tree. Then, whoosh, a crow swooped down, dropping a single black feather right between the sisters. Temi stared at it. Titi stared at Temi. For the first time in years, they spoke the same words at the same time. "You remember, don't you?" The wind roared louder, swirling dust around them. Even the trees seemed to whisper secrets too heavy to keep. Birds flapped wildly in the sky, confused by the sisters' anger. Chief Tolu stood between Temi and Titi, his eyes sharp. "You remember, what?" he asked. Temi turned her face away. Titi clenched her fist and stormed off. That night, Lagos itself seemed angry. Thunder cracked like a giant whip. Rain didn't just fall, it pounded the rooftops, as if the sky was shouting. In their separate rooms, the sisters' nightlights flickered. Shadows danced like ghosts on the walls. And in the dark, both girls whispered the same words. She will never tell the truth. The next morning, the whole neighborhood was buzzing. A goat had been found tied to a pole near the motor park, upside down, eyes wide open, already dead. No one knew who put it there. Beside it lay a broken plastic bowl filled with ashes. "This is bad," muttered Uncle Dele, the oldest man on their street. "Secrets are crawling out like cockroaches." That afternoon, Chief Tolu called a family meeting in their backyard. He had invited Mama Eo, a blind woman who saw things others couldn't. She arrived quietly, her walking stick tapping the ground. Though her eyes were hidden behind dark shades, she stopped right in front of Temi and Titi. She tilted her head toward the sky and whispered, "Same blood, but your hearts are at war. The ground beneath you is splitting. Soon, what's buried will rise." Temi's lips shook. Titi looked away. "What do we do?" Chief Tolu begged. Mama Eo didn't answer. Instead, she dropped a small black stone between the sisters. It had a crack running through it, glowing faintly red. "When this stone breaks," she said, "the truth will explode, like a dropped phone screen." Then, she left. That night, Temi had a nightmare. She was in a dark, empty field. The wind hissed her name. In the distance stood a shack with no door, just smoke curling out. Inside, someone was crying, a voice she almost recognized. Meanwhile, Titi woke up screaming. Her hands were covered in dirt, even though she'd been in bed all night. Her nails were chipped, as if she'd been digging. "What is happening to us?" she whispered, staring at her reflection. The next day, as Lagos prepared for the big carnival, the sisters clashed again. Titi had bought yellow flowers to decorate their family altar. But Temi, without a word, snatched them and threw them in the trash. Titi screamed, "Why do you hate me so much? You started it. You always start it." Temi screamed, her voice sharp as broken glass. Titi lunged at her, and in seconds, they were rolling on the floor, pulling each other's braids, scratching, hissing like angry cats. Neighbors rushed into the compound, shaking their heads. These girls again," one auntie muttered. Chief Tolu ran out, his voice trembling with anger and fear. "Enough," he roared, pushing them apart. His heart pounded like a talking drum. "You will kill each other before this ends." Their mother, Mrs. Kemi, stood frozen in the doorway, her face pale. "Let's take them to Pastor James," she whispered. "Or to the herbalist, or anywhere. This is not normal." But neither prayers nor juju could stop what was coming. That night, as rain tapped softly on the rusty zinc roof, Chief Tolu sat alone in the living room, staring at the black stone Mama Eo had left. It sat there, silent, but dangerous. He picked it up, his hands shaking. "Whatever evil is tormenting my daughters, leave my house," he begged. Boom! Lightning flashed outside. Then, a blood-curdling scream ripped through the house. Temi came running out, eyes wild, clutching a broken mirror shard like a weapon. "She tried to stab me." Titi charged after her, shouting, "Liar! You're the one with demon eyes." Chief Tolu collapsed to his knees. "My daughters, you will destroy this family." The next morning, something terrifying appeared on their front door, 3 red dots in a triangle, like a warning. No one knew who put it there. No one dared to touch it. And the black stone. It had started to crack. Day by day, the red mark grew darker, as if feeding on the sisters' hatred. Chief Tolu was no longer the strong, proud man Lagos respected. His eyes were always tired, his voice weak, like a dying radio signal. And the sisters, their fights got worse. They no longer hid their hatred. They insulted each other in public, at the market, at the bus stop, even during church service. Kids on the street started calling them Fire and Fire, because wherever they went, chaos followed. But the black stone told its own story. Every day, a new crack appeared. Until one night, under a full, glowing moon, the stone exploded into pieces. No one touched it. No one was even near it. It just shattered on its own. The black stone had shattered, its pieces scattered across the floor like broken promises. That same night, Mama Eo, the blind seer, returned. She stood in the compound, her dark glasses hiding her eyes, her walking stick thumping the ground 3 times. "It is time," she announced. Chief Tolu gathered Temi and Titi under the old neem tree. Neighbors crowded around, whispering, their phones recording. The air felt heavy, like before a storm. Mama Eo lifted her face to the sky. "Spirits stay silent until they can't anymore," she said. "But the spirits in this house, they've been screaming for years." She turned to the sisters. Temi opened her mouth, then shut it. Her lips trembled, tears spilling down her cheeks. "I didn't mean to," she whispered. "I didn't mean for it to happen." Titi froze. "So, you remember?" "I never forgot," Temi screamed, jumping to her feet. "You took what was mine. You always did." Titi stepped forward, eyes burning. "It was never yours. You were the one who told Mama." And then, like a cracked phone screen, the truth finally spilled out. Years ago, when Temi was 10 and Titi was 8, something terrible had happened. Their mother, Mrs. Kemi, had just given birth to a baby boy, Junior. For the first time, Chief Tolu smiled every day. He carried Junior everywhere, singing, "My son, my pride." One afternoon, while Mrs. Kemi bathed Junior in the backyard, Temi and Titi started fighting over a cheap plastic necklace, blue, with a tiny heart pendant. "It's mine," Temi yelled. "No, mine," Titi screeched. Their shouts grew louder. The baby started crying. And in one moment of blind rage, the truth was finally out. Years ago, in a moment of anger, Temi had shoved Titi hard. Titi stumbled back, knocking over the basin where baby Junior lay. The baby slipped, hit his head, and stopped breathing. When Mrs. Kemi returned, it was too late. Temi, terrified, lied. Titi did it. From that day, everything changed. Mrs. Kemi stopped braiding Titi's hair. Chief Tolu stopped smiling at her. Titi became the accident child, in whispers. And Titi, she never spoke up. She thought if she stayed quiet, maybe the love would return. But it never did. The lie festered like an old wound, poisoning their sisterhood for years. Under the moonlight, Chief Tolu collapsed to his knees, his voice breaking. "All these years, because of one lie." Temi sobbed, "I was just a child. I didn't know she'd suffer forever." Titi turned away, tears glistening. "I suffered because no one believed me. I lost everything." The crowd was silent. Even the wind seemed to pause. Then, third, Mama Eo struck her staff on the ground. "The ancestors have heard. The earth has opened. Now, healing can begin." That night, the red mark on the door vanished. The shadows in the house lifted. For the first time in years, Temi and Titi sat together, not fighting, just silent. Not in war, but in shared pain. Peace doesn't come in one day. Wounds don't heal overnight. But in their hearts, something had changed. The bitter sisters were no longer bitter. They were just sisters again. As the sun rose over Lagos, Temi reached out and took Titi's hand. No words, just a squeeze. And for the first time in a long time, they both smiled.